Here's two comments you need to know, okay? Number one is we're trying to be great in a game, not good, okay? We're trying to be great in a game, not great in BP. That's really important because if you watched our BP sometimes, you may hear me make them throw, guy swings, puts the ball in play and say, good job, and the kid doesn't think it. The parents, the players, the other team, there might be times that the result is not great, but that swing and the adjustment he made from the previous pitch is going to create something that makes him great in a game. So we're trying to be great in a game, we're not trying to be great in BP. Okay. In my opinion, your swing starts when your heel hits. There's no going back from that. Okay? Now when my toe hits, there's going back from that. Right? I can still compete after my toe hits. Okay, so that's it. Is my toe hitting first, and is my toe hitting soft enough that my hands are still back if I'm not 100% on time and I can still compete. Okay? Now here's some things we do to train that. Okay? Albert Pujols. Okay, I hope we haven't passed that age yet. Does anybody here not know who Albert Pujols is? Okay, that's sad. Google it when you get home. Okay? Albert Pujols with a J. P-U-J-O. Okay. Albert Pujols, if you watched him hit, basically hits with no stride. Okay? As he's gotten older in some specific counts, he'll have a little stride into it, but it's not much of one. But for most of his career, he's essentially not lifted his toe off the ground. Okay? So I call that a no stride. So we have a drill that we literally call Pujols. Okay? What is Pujols? Pujols is no stride. So we have an old, it's probably 20 years old. It's a green two-wheel machine that we got a gun and we got it out and it creates high spin and high velo. Okay? So what we do is we take this pitching machine, okay, and we train bat to ball skill and we try to speed our eyes up. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to get too much movement into it, okay, to where we're practicing bad timing. Why would that be practicing bad timing? I'll answer that for you. Because the pitching machine is going to be one pitch, okay, in one location, at one speed. Even if you're training breaking ball, it's still going to be a breaking ball. You know it's a breaking ball, okay? It's still going to be pretty much the same speed, and it's still going to be pretty much the same location, okay? So I'm not saying that there aren't benefits to pitching machines, but I think it can mess you up in timing, and what I'm talking about is timing. What is hitting? To me, hitting is timing. What is timing? Timing to me is hitting, right? So I think the two are synonymous with each other. So when we're talking about that, okay, we're going to reverse a little bit back to Pujols, okay, because I think that's our foundation of what gets us into our stride and gets us into a good landing spot. Okay, so when we're training Pujols, and again, you can train this off a pitching machine. I've gone all the way back into the foundation of our program is something as simple as side toss. Side toss. Coach, where are you going? You just talked about pitching machine. Oh, you're talking about Albert Pujols. So we have a sock net, and we just got back to doing old school side toss. Why? Because I can control all those movements. We want to be able to control that landing. Okay? We want to be able to control our eyes with our feet. Okay? And if we can see the ball, everybody that's out there with the outfielders with me, right? Nothing happens without the baseball. We got to know where it is at all times. Okay? There's not a more important position to know where the baseball is and be able to see the baseball than in the batter's box. Okay? You maybe say catcher, that might be the second position. Okay? So if we want to keep these puppies really, really still. Okay? So side toss is something that we want to have an evolution. That's the first thing we do every day. We actually stopped hitting off the tee a lot this fall. Okay? So a lot of the things that we're doing, we want stuff moving. We want to be able to control movements. Okay? So as we're moving into this, we want to make sure that we're landing soft. Okay? We want to make sure that our toes hitting first. We want to make sure that we're landing in a position that our hands are back before our heel is down. Okay? Nothing controls that better than Pujols. Okay? And our cues on Pujols, okay, is heel up, hands back. That's our cue. Okay? So when we're in that no stride position, if you will, okay, we're just going to constantly say, let's really over-exaggerate. Hands up, hands back, heel up, hands back. Okay? And then if you take that and you just take it into a stride, right? How are you getting there? You know, a lot of times our guys are finding out that in a no stride position or in a Pujols position, and let me talk about Pujols for a second. I think the beauty in calling it Pujols, right, is a lot of times people say no stride and they think, oh, you just, kind of slap hit, or you don't want me to have much to it. I mean, there's not been a better power hitter of our generation than Albert Pujols. Right? You look at the numbers, what he's doing, what he has done in his career rivals anything, right? Right next to Barry Bonds. I mean, it's right there. Like, this guy's as good as there's ever been in our game. Okay? So we're talking about one of the best hitters ever, and that's what we're calling our drill. Very intentional, because he does damage from that position. Now, do all our guys hit in no stride? Nobody hits in no stride. There's not one, but I guarantee you this. We got to face that guy that is that high spin guy, that does have that slider, does have that breaking ball, that Friday night guy or that ninth inning guy. Guess what? We got something in our toolbox where we can go no stride if we want to. Right? We eliminate a lot of head movement. Right? We get it. Heel up, hands back, and we're able to stay and compete a little bit. Doesn't make it easy, just maybe helps you a little bit. Okay? But my point in the Pujols, the reason I keep coming back to this, is we find ourselves successful, heel up, hands back, delivering the barrel in front of our body, okay? And then all of a sudden we move into this, okay? And we feel kind of out of sync, okay? And I think the simplicity of it, right? Because we don't want to make this thing hard, okay? The simplicity of it is, how are you getting to that landing spot? What was the second checkpoint that I said? That I just sent out to my players. Are you landing soft enough? Okay, that if you're not 100% on time, that your hands are still back and you can compete. That's it. Coach, why am I really successful right here, and then I put a leg kick in and I'm not? Are you landing soft enough, okay, that your hands are still back and you can compete? More specifically, your heel's not off the ground. Okay? Is your toe hitting first? So it all comes back to that, for me. How are we controlling our eyes? Can we see it? Okay? How are we landing? Because our feet are controlling our eyes. Okay? And is there a toe to heel relationship when we're landing? There's going to be an evolution to what you're doing at the plate. Okay? Because when you start getting up to, high school, college baseball, right? Now, I'm not just going to say Division I baseball. You start getting up to college baseball, right? There's guys, man, and they're complementing a fastball with a complementary breaking ball out of a similar slot, out of a similar plane. And it's not by accident. They're trained and they're recruited to do that. The thing I loved about when Coach Grant here asked me to do this talk, I said, do you want to talk about this before I do it? And he said, well, why would I want to do that? And I said, well, if you're teaching something that's different than what I say, I wouldn't want to just completely go over. Because you may go to Coach Starbuck here, you may go to Coach Bicknell here, okay? You may go out there and they don't even mention the things that I just said, right? Or they may say it a different way, okay? But the thing I loved about what Coach Rembert told me when I asked him that, hey, do you want me to tell you what I'm going to say? Because I don't want to. He said, no, they need to hear all this, right? Like, that's who we are. That's what we're about, right? And I don't know if you've noticed it, but not one coach is left. They know how to teach hitting, right? Well, I guarantee if you ask them, like, what are they still doing? I just like to hear maybe some different lingo, right? We're all different, right? We're all learners in that, right? So maybe there's one thing in that. I don't even know if I really talked about the swing right there, right? I talked about how to get to a good landing point that's going to put you in a position to see the baseball and be able to launch out of that position, right? So if you're able to take one nugget, right, and I love the fact that the environment that's created, it was almost like he wanted me to say something different than what he says every day, just so there was a different way to say it, a different way to learn it, okay? Listen to those things. What's one thing that you took, right? What does that mean when your toe hits? Okay, it's not just about the toe hits, right? Because your toe can hit like this, okay? A close second. When your toe hits, are you landing soft enough that your hands are still back if you're not what? 100% on time. Right? This will be the last thing I say. Okay? Here's an analogy. You got 400 hits in your career. Okay? Freshman through senior college. You've had 400 hits since T-ball all the way up to college baseball. How many of them, 400, how many of them were exactly 100% on time? How many of them did you just walk up and you're just like, what a, right? What are the answers? 40, 45, Coach, maybe 50, I don't know. So 10 to 15% of your hits. In your whole career, from the time that you're 9 years old through the time that you're 22, you're 100% on time. How are you not training to hit when you're off time? Right? Like, where are you? 75 to 80% of the hits that you get in your career are when you're not 100% off time. How would you not land in a position that would make you be able to compete, enable you to compete when you're not 100% on time?